Yes, Mr. Mayor, give us a second, please. I'm waiting to have a quorum, please.
Welcome back to our public. Madam Clerk, can we have a motion to close?
Move to close?
Yes. Okay. Motion to close the executive session for items 1 through 5. And
We have a motion
motion,
by Councilman Velez and a second by Councilman Mendez. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
yes, Madam President. Roll call to close the executive session for items 1 through 5. Councilwoman Cotton?
Yes.
The executive session for item 1 through 5. Councilwoman Davila?
Yes.
Councilman Kalik?
Yes.
Councilman Mendez?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Yes, Madam
I'm
Clerk.
sorry. It's fine.
My vote is
Madam
yes.
President?
Yes, Madam Clerk.
The vote is 6 in favor, 3 absent. Executive session is now closed for items 1 through 5.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Can we take item number 6 on the special meeting?
Yes, Madam President. Next item is item number 6. These are settlement resolutions. Item number 6, resolution authorizing settlement of pending workers' compensation claim, the matter of Alita de Sus versus City of Paterson Law, Resolution 21279.
Move.
Second. Moved by Councilman Velez, second by Councilwoman Mendez Davila. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Madam President. Roll call at item number 6 for settlement. Councilman Abdelaziz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Khan? No. Councilman Davila?
Yes.
Councilman Kalik?
Yes.
Councilman Mendez?
Yes.
Yes, Madam Clerk.
Councilman Velez?
Yes.
Madam President?
Yes, Madam Clerk.
Missing someone. Did I call? Oh, I'm sorry, I'm correct. The vote is 5 in favor, 1 against, 3 absent. Item number 6 is hereby adopted.
Thank you, Madam
I
Clerk.
think
Item
6 in
number
favor,
8.
Madam Clerk, not 5.
Item number 7, Madam Clerk.
6 in favor, 1 against, ma'am.
Well, 1 against.
6 in favor, 1 against.
No, she said it wrong. Councilwoman, because she didn't read it correctly.
Can you call,
Is that about
can you call that vote
Okay,
again?
let me repeat. Councilman Abdelaziz said yes, Councilman Cotton said no, Councilman Davila said yes, Councilman Jackson is not here, Councilman Kalik said yes, Councilman Mendez said yes, and the President said yes. And Councilman, you're correct, Councilman Velez is here.
6.
Councilman, I have yours absent, sorry.
Me?
Correct.
Me?
Yes.
Oh, my
6
God.
in favor, 1 against, and 3
See,
absent.
Councilman, when you're quiet, they don't
Thank-
even know you're
Hey,
here.
I'm trying to be here.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item number 7, Madam Clerk.
I mean, 2 absent. There's 2 absent. 6 in favor, let me just repeat. Let's be on the correction. We have to slow down. 6 in favor, 1 against, 2 absent. Item number 6 is hereby adopted.
Item number 7, Madam Clerk.
Next item is item number 7. Resolution authorizing settlement of pending workers' compensation claim in the matter of Nelson Perishi versus City of Paterson, Law Resolution 21280.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Velez, second by Councilman Mendez. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Roll call on item number 7 for approval. Councilman Abdelaziz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Khan? Councilman Davila?
No.
Councilman Kalik?
Yes.
Councilman Mendez?
Yes, Madam Clerk.
Okay. Councilman Velez?
Yes, Madam Clerk.
Madam President?
Yes, Madam Clerk.
So the vote is 5 in favor, 2 against, 2 absent. Item number 7 is hereby adopted.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item number 8.
Next item is item number 8, resolution authorizing settlement of pending workers' compensation claim in the matter of Javier Tovar versus City of Paterson, Law Resolution 21281.
Move.
Second.
Moved by Councilman Velez, second by Councilman Mendez. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Roll call on item number 8 for approval. Councilman Abdelaziz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Khan? Councilman Davila?
Yes.
Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilman Khalid?
Yes.
Councilman Mendez?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Yes, Madam Clerk.
Madam President?
Yes.
The vote is 7 in favor, 1 against, 1 absent. Item number 8 is hereby adopted.
Item number 9, Madam Clerk.
Next item is item number 9, resolution authorizing settlement of pending workers' compensation claim in the matter of James DeMaria versus City of Paterson, Law Resolution 21282.
So move.
Moved by Councilman Velez, second by Councilwoman Davila. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Roll call on item number 9 for approval. Councilman Abdelaziz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Khan? Yes. Councilman Davila?
Yes.
Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilman Kalik?
Yes.
Councilman Mendez?
Yes.
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Yes. Yes.
Madam President?
Yes.
The vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. Item number 9 is hereby adopted.
Item number 10, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Madam President. Next item is item number 10. Item number 10, resolution approving the settlement and release between the City of Paterson and Paterson Parking Authority and NRVP LLC, Law Resolution 21283.
So move.
So move.
Moved by Councilwoman Davila and Councilman Velez, second by Councilwoman Mims. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Roll call on item number 10 for approval. Councilman Abdelaziz?
Yes.
Councilwoman Khan? Yes. Councilman Davila?
Yes.
Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilman Kalik? Yes. Councilman Mendez?
Yes.
Councilman Velez?
Yes.
Madam President?
Yes.
The vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. Item number 10 is hereby adopted.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
Move to close special
There are no
meeting?
more items
Second.
on the,
There are no more items on the
Special meeting agenda.
agenda. We have a close by Councilman Abdelaziz and a second by Councilwoman Davila. Roll call, Madam Clerk, to close the special meeting agenda.
Abdelaziz and Councilman Davila. Roll call to close the special 8:30 meeting of June 1st, 2021. Councilman Abdelaziz?
All the residents have a good night. My vote is yes.
Councilwoman
Madam
Khan?
Clerk, I'm sorry. From what I'm getting from the residents, the live feed is no longer up.
The
Are
what?
are we live at the
Yeah,
moment?
Mr. Ming
Yes,
is
you can see
there. I
it.
told you we're back, we're live. Then someone is not seeing us?
No, it's not available.
Mr. Ming? Is there,
It's on.
is,
32 and 77 are on?
It's on, Councilman Jackson. People are watching. They're texting that they can see it.
maybe sometimes, okay. I'm sorry.
Very good.
I have a motion and a second, and I got Councilman Abdelaziz vote, Councilwoman Cotton vote. Councilman Davila, you voted to close? I think it was Councilman Jackson was to close. Okay, would you the next person? Yes. Okay, Councilman Davila? To close the special meeting. Thank you. Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilman Kalik?
Yes.
Councilman Mendez?
Yes.
Councilman Mims? I'm sorry, Councilman Velez?
Yes, Madam Clerk.
Madam President?
Yes.
The vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. The special meeting of June 1st, 2021 is hereby adjourned. We'll now resume to our regular scheduled workshop session. May I have a motion to reopen
Move.
the workshop session?
To reopen, we have a move by Councilman.
Velez and second.
Councilman Velez, second by Councilwoman Davila. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Yes, roll call to convene the workshop session. Councilman Abdelaziz? Yes. Councilwoman Khan? Yes. Councilman Davila?
Yes.
Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilman Kalik?
Yes.
Councilman Mendez? Yes. Councilman Velez?
Taking my advice from my legal. Oh, yeah. Good night. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Madam President,
Yes.
the vote is 8 in favor, 1 absent. The workshop session is now reopened. So we
So,
continue with the
Madam
workshop.
Clerk, all the second reading ordinances, if
Yes.
there are no objections, let's keep them all on for second reading. First reading ordinances, does anyone have any objections to first reading?
Not at all.
First reading, we can move those along. Item number 14, regular.
Please, yeah.
Madam President, just bear with me 1 second so I can grab my agenda.
Non-consent.
Okay, so all our second reading ordinances are okay, and our first reading ordinances are good for the next meeting.
Yes.
Okay. Item number 10, Madam President, if I may.
Item number
We
10.
still haven't had that item.
Item number 10, we still don't have a document from legal, so I'm not sure. We've been,
Council President. Council President.
yeah, Corporation Council?
Thank you, Council President. As I relayed a little bit earlier, this document has been subject to much debate. I believe certain council members wanted to provide input, and it needed to then be reviewed once that input and the financing was arranged. To date, we haven't received any further input. As such, we could not finalize a resolution or bless it from the legal perspective. That's why there's none attached, and I think it'll continue in that sort of holding pattern until that's accomplished.
Council President.
Councilwoman Cotton?
Yes, council members, and then once we receive that input, I think economic development would have to take a look at it as well, because it would go through that department like any other resolution. Then it would come to us for final blessing.
Council President.
Okay, so
Council-
I wouldn't say pull it, if we can move this to the next workshop item, and by then it gives, I mean, this is the second time we've done it, but I think June 15th, we'll move it again, and by that point, if we have not, then I'm gonna ask the administration to make a decision. If we don't receive, because we waited a while for input, and if we don't get any by then I'm asking Corporation Council to sign off on this document.
Council President.
Councilman Velez?
Yeah.
Council President, I know that we
mean,
was rushing the agenda to put everything in, but on item number 11,
We're doing 10 first.
Huh?
We're on 10 first.
oh no,
So, Madam Clerk, number 10, can we do it June 15th?
what's
Yeah,
10?
yes, I have that, Madam President.
Okay.
Council
Council President is there.
Council President.
So we're number
We were on
14?
number 14 on non-consent.
All right,
Council President.
okay. Could we do 15 on consent, 16 on
Council
non-consent?
President.
Council President, I want 15
I
on
haven't
regular.
finished. I haven't even started.
That's what I said. Oh, you want 15 on regular? So 15 and 16 on regular.
Council President,
Council President.
we do
17
have,
consent.
Ed Bosey here, if you'd like any further information on number 15 on that, the grant application.
Council President.
It's an application.
Council President.
Yeah,
No.
I understand. We just wanted
It's
to
on
make
regular.
sure if people had any questions that
All
he
right.
was the one driving it, so.
Council
It's
President.
a
on
grant.
regular.
Councilman Velez?
Yeah, thank you. Is that when we was in 10, I asked for the floor in. There's a concern about number 11. And it's supposed to be put at the curbside on Mill Street?
That's the administration.
No, to the chair of DPW. When we had discussion of the loading zone on Grand Street between Mill Street and Jersey Street, didn't we agree to put this on Mill Street side instead of Grand Street? Correct, so it's going. So let the record reflect that the ordinance had to change that, because it could create a problem when it goes to install the loading zone. Because still in the whereas, it says that it's gonna be installed on Grand Street side. I know, but it says here, but I just want the, because when the DPW pick up the resolution, sometimes they go by this and by the title on the top, and they go put in the Grand Street, and we already have a loading zone on that section of Grand Street between Jersey and Mill. So I don't want to see two loading zones on the same side of the street. Can you reflect that in the whereas, that the location on the bottom be also in the top?
Yeah, so I just want to get clarification, because I'm going to work on it right now. You want the title to reflect what's in the whereas clause?
In the location, yes.
Okay.
Actually, in the location, because it was changed. So the location had to be reflected in whereas number 1, because I don't want the title to confuse where they're gonna put it at.
Okay.
Yeah.
Count,
Councilwoman Cotton.
are we on, God,
We're on break.
are we at 15 yet?
Yes.
No, only thing I want
Someone
to
just
ask,
said regular.
oh, it's on a regular. Only thing I need to ask, is this for a 1-year grant for this opioid? No, is it a 1-year grant?
I'm not sure. I believe it's they actually ask you to put forward your budget, and I think we're putting it for 3 years.
Over 3 years?
But it's $900,000 over 3 years.
900,000 over 3 years? Okay.
Council President.
Councilman Mendes.
Thank you. And I just want to, reiterate the conversation that we have on the Finance Committee. And Madam BA, I also, as you remember, I expressed this concern. We applying for this program for substance abuse program. You stated at the Finance Committee that we're going to only serve Paterson with this program.
That's
now,
correct.
my concern when it comes to this is that we have so many programs that once we receive the grant, it's up into the state, to all the state of New Jersey, and we all know that one of the biggest problems that we have in the city is that we're getting drug addict people from all over the place, right? Looking for help, they never get rehabilitated, and they ended up into the street in our city, and that's what we're facing right now. So, how can we be sure that this is not going to happen the same situation with this program once we get the award of the funding?
That is actually one of the things that this is precisely meant to address. And so, to that point specifically, yes, people are coming into Paterson, they're coming into their treatment centers, they are failing out, and they are going onto the street, okay? The problem is because the treatment centers that they're going into are failed model treatment centers. They're abstinence-based treatment centers. Abstinence-based treatment centers they're terrible. If you needed FDA approval, you would not get it for an abstinence-based treatment program, okay? The thing is Medicaid pays the most for an abstinence-based program. So what winds up happening is the treatment programs, they say, oh, you know what? I'm going to offer abstinence-based treatment. That's the way to go. But meanwhile, people fail out of that at an alarming rate. A couple of studies, after 60 days, 100% of people had failed out of that program, so they would wind up on the street. So what we're trying to do by this proposal is make sure that they don't go into an abstinence-based program, that they go into a medication-assisted treatment program. You've probably heard of methadone, but there are actually much better prescriptions than methadone now. So what we're trying to do is shine a light on these treatment programs so that people that are going into these abstinence-based programs know that they're a failure, that they don't go into that program and therefore don't fail out and wind up on our streets. What we want them to do is get medication-assisted treatment and optimally to get that via telemedicine. So they don't even have to come, people even now that get it in Paterson wouldn't even have to come into Paterson, right? You get it by phone. And that's something that you might say, well, why haven't they done that before? Only during COVID have they opened the window to allow doctors for the first time to assess patients over the phone for medication-assisted treatment. So we really want to grab this window of opportunity and say that's the model that we want to promote. Okay. So they won't even come into Paterson. But as far as the 1-800 number, our first question is going to be, are you from Paterson?
Right.
Okay. Madam BA, the next question and my last question is on this item. Who's in charge of monitoring those entities that we have in the city and their progress? Because the reality is that there's a lot of funding through those entities that provide those rehabilitation programs. But the reality is that it's becoming our problem now. Those individuals, they never get rehabilitated, and now we have them sleeping in the street all over the city. So who's responsible for overseeing what's happening with those institutions that we have here in the city of Paterson?
I'll tell you.
Well, Council President and Councilman, it's not really that under the auspices of the city government to oversee, you're saying like, various clinics that would be, their whether it's the State Department of Health and so on, that gives them, you know, kind of the ability to operate. But I think that the important thing about this grant application and the work that's going on, that this is a coalition that, you know, Ed, if you want to run through some of the partners that have been working on this issue.
So St. Joe's is a big partner to this. Also, New Jersey Rutgers Medical School is a big partner onto this. They are actually helping us analyze the data, to your point, like who's holding them accountable. The big problem is that if you go out to the ReachNJ website that was created by the state, there's no information out there that shows the success rate of any of these institutions and thereby holds them accountable. Well, however, I was able to get data from the Department of Health and started churning that data. And one of the things that I found is that like 72% of treatment centers that claim to provide MAT in practice do not. So people wind up saying, oh, good, you know what? I want to get medication for my addiction because that's the best way to go. They wind up going to a treatment center and they say, hey, I'd like medication. And the treatment center says, you know, we don't do that.
Right.
Okay? So nobody's been holding them accountable, to your point exactly. That's why one of the parts of the solution is to create a website that shows the data so that when people look at that data, they say, I'm not going there. Their results are terrible, right? And they start going to the effective treatment centers, and what does that do? The ineffective treatment centers either adopt best practice or they close.
So, Council President.
Councilman Velez.
Okay, Council President, I want to ask through the chair. So you probably could agree that out of 100% of individuals out there with this condition, 90% or give me a percent, they're out-of-towners?
I'm sorry, they're what?
From out of town, from out of the city.
I don't have that data. I can tell you this, to that point, 48% of our homeless have a substance use disorder, and 18% of them are from out of the county. So that's the data.
And once again, if I go now to the homeless,
yeah,
because I'm out there, I ask them, hey, where you from? Hey, I'm Towns River. Hey, where were you from? I'm from Bergen County. Hey,
right.
Where are you from? I'm from here. I could count with my hands how many of those live in Paterson.
Right.
Okay? Because I know him for many, many years. So this will address the situation that everybody thinks that we are the one that, okay, we are compassionate, we receive and we go to treatment, but it's going to get crowded every time that we say we got treatment for this and this and that, and they and the residents that they belong to that city, we're not making them accountable. If I ask ID for them and they got ID from Towns River, the first thing I say, why Towns River is not doing something for you?
So what is the
Wayne is
question?
not doing something?
So what is the question?
My question is, if you have the data, and I asked a question before, and then he says, you know, he tried to avoid it with the homeless
I don't think that was the
population.
intent. I don't think that was the intent. Just ask,
Okay,
yeah.
so that's why he put the homeless situation there. I'm talking about the patients that we could treat or whatever. If you have an idea, what percent you giving out of town?
Again, I don't take guesses like that. I'm a data's guy, so I wouldn't feel comfortable taking that guess. But to your point, right? I've interviewed people through anecdotally. Yeah, it seems like a lot of people come here for treatment. I interviewed one homeless person, and he actually told me he went to a treatment center. He had the wrong insurance. They put him out on the street, and they did nothing for him getting him back home. Okay?
So that's the point.
But
That's
the point is that, like, the last part of this proposal, like, there's 4 parts of it, and the 4th part of it is to actually engage the treatment centers and say, these are the best practices that we want you to follow. And if you follow these best practices, it will reflect that on the website, right? Your data and the fact that you're adopting best practices, which could include a recommendation that when somebody leaves treatment, that they're transported back home. We could ask them to do that. That's nothing that we don't engage them. We could ask them to say, rather than provide abstinence-based program, provide medication. National Institutes of Health says that's the best way to treat people. Half as many people die on MAT as on abstinence-based
So that's
program.
immediate attention you gave him right away.
Yeah.
But as soon as you identify that that person belongs to Towns River, Freehold, or whatever,
Yeah.
okay, do you do immediate referral to that city to take care of them? Or you just treat him here, keep him here, or whatever?
Again, this proposal is to
Because they
provide
receive
referrals.
funds too, that's what I'm saying.
I'm sorry, go
They
ahead.
receive funds They
Yeah.
have their own program.
Right.
So,
I'm saying that our 800 number would be giving referrals for
Okay.
Patersonians, not for people that are not outside of Paterson.
oh, okay.
Councilman Khan.
Thank you, Council President. Let me just say that you're the first person standing up there that said that those programs are failures.
Oh,
And I've been
absolutely.
saying, no, you're not the first one, but I've been saying that for the last 3 or 4 years, we continue to give them money, and they go to the program, they last 1 week, and then they're walking down 12th Avenue with a suitcase because they done throw them out the program, and I had no one helping to figure out what we're gonna do with those people that's lasting 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, and they're out here, and they're running up and down the street with suitcases and shopping carts and everything, but you said it, you hit it right on the button. They're not working. And then they say to me, and get into an argument with me, well, what you want us to do? Well, you're getting the funding. Figure out when they can't last, when they can't stay there, you figure out how to get them back home. When
Right.
they don't live here. You figure out, but they don't have nothing in place to figure out. No, they don't want to have nothing in place to figure out how to get them back to where they need. And I'm saying to you, I'm happy you said that, what you said. And I'm saying I was in many arguments with many of these programs because they don't think it was their responsibility to get them back to where they belong. So I just
Right.
want to thank you for, and with this program that you got here, because we got a methadone clinic on Main Street here in the city, you know, and you go there, first thing early in the morning, 6 o'clock, 5:30, they're waiting online to get in there. So I just want to say, we have to then, I think, to the city ourselves, say to these major, big programs, no, you're going to have to help us figure out how to get these people, when they don't make it, back to where they need to go.
And
President?
to your point, if may I?
Council President, can we move forward with this item to,
It's regular.
why regular? It's an
No, it's okay.
application. Why not it be consent?
Why red consent?
So,
It's consent.
Councilman Davila, it is an application,
Right.
but the council decides if we want to apply or not.
Okay.
For that grant.
Okay,
And then when we get the award, we decide if we want to receive it or not.
okay,
So, it's gonna go on
Fine.
regular.
Council President,
regular.
Councilman Jackson.
right quick, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your name, can I?
Oh, I'm the Chief Innovation Officer, Ed Posey.
Ed Posey, okay, so you don't work for another organization, you work?
No, I work for the city.
You work for the city. So the grant application is going to be, who is going to administer the actual activity of the grant? Administer this,
The city will.
the city will? So
We have partners like Rutgers University and St. Joe's, but the city will administer.
So this grant is to administer a drug-induced or a medication-induced program?
Medication-assisted treatment, yes.
Okay, so we're now going to become a treatment center, resource.
No. The main thing that I would say we are facilitating is a teledoc program where you don't even have to come into Paterson. Well, we're addressing Patersonians, so Patersonian wouldn't have to leave their apartment. They can make a phone call with a doctor, get a prescription for Suboxone, and it would be delivered to their house within 90 minutes.
Okay, so we have many service providers in the city. I don't want to call them by name. Are we partnering with any,
Yeah.
partnering with St. Joe's Hospital, or who?
So St. Joe's hasn't, so there's so many sad ironies to this. St. Joe's Hospital has an opioid overdose recovery program. The problem is you have to get there, okay? EMT will transport you, but you have to be overdosing. So do you see the irony there? I can get treatment, but I have to have overdosed. So what we're going to do is we're going to, for the homeless, who obviously can't take a teledoc appointment, we will be transporting them there via Uber Health. So Uber actually has a health transportation, non-emergency health transportation service that they bill Medicaid for. So that'll be part for the homeless. And for the people that have apartments, we will use a teledoc. And then the doctor will fill a prescription at Walgreens, open 24/7, and that will be delivered by DoorDash. DoorDash actually does deliver prescriptions. So it's really simple. It's actually pieces that all exist, but have never really been put together in this way.
Now, I have to acknowledge, this is very, very good. And I have to agree with Councilwoman Cotton. One, I'm probably the only one, because everyone else is talking about how amazing, let me not use that word, how incredible some of these entities were, and they're not keeping track of the data. So you're not the data personnel person, right? So
No, I'm not the chief data officer, but we've worked together a little bit on this.
we need to be able to capture or at least make those organizations capture their intake and those people who fall off the ledge there. Lastly, I'm sorry, Council President, and I know we want to rush through this, but this is very important because we have a large population that could be positively impacted by this. I'm just trying to make sure that this administration has come forward with some good ideas, and one of them being the Paterson Plus app. But the implementation did not reach the expectations, and it's leaving a great deal of people upset. I mean, it's a great tool, but it's not quite finishing the job. So I'm just trying to get some clarity on how is this going. I hear you, because those are phenomenal outlets. The Uber delivery services and so on and so forth. They don't have to come into the city, so they can be out any place else. They can be outside the county. And
They can, but we're not, our call center won't be servicing them. If somebody else wants to expand it to them at some later point, that's their business. We're serving Paterson.
So who's going to? Is there going to be a call center?
Yeah, there's going to be a call center. We call it the 1-800-TREAT-ME, and also the website will be treatme.org.
Okay. All right. I guess we'll get. Can you
But
please?
you mentioned Paterson, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, I'm listening.
You had asked me about partnerships, and Paterson Counseling Center is currently a methadone clinic. Only about 2% of their clients actually receive something other than methadone, but that's really disadvantaged for our poor, because our poor have a hard time with transportation, and to have to get to Paterson Counseling Center at 6 o'clock every morning for your methadone and then wait in line where you're actually susceptible to dealers coming and trying to deal to you, that's a really, really bad and ineffective model. So we've already had early success. I'm sorry?
And the Suboxone is proven to be more effective.
Suboxone, right? So methadone, you're not allowed. I can't give you a prescription. I can't give you a 30-day supply of methadone because it's actually an opioid, and you might sell it. Not you, obviously, but for Suboxone, you can't get high from Suboxone, so you can be given a 30-day prescription, so you don't have to go to the clinic every day. You only have to go twice, once to refill your prescription and one for your monthly counseling.
Can you
So
forward
a
me
lot
some
better.
more information via email, please? Because I know Council.
Sure, I can give you the whole thing. I just broke it down very simply here, but it's. I think that other people are going to really imitate this, and I think we're going to save a lot of lives here.
Director, is this going through your department? Okay, phenomenal.
Are we going to do a press conference now?
All right, so that's going to go on regular. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Council, Madam Clerk, I want to entertain number 24. I'm going to skip those and just go to 24.
Yes, sir.
So Barbara, could you just give us an overview of what we have here for us and for the public?
It's the 6-month action plan for 2021, from July 1st, 2021 through December 31st, 2021.
Okay, hold on a minute, I have a question. So, this is the action plan. Those amounts have already been allocated to certain agencies?
Yes, the applications went out in November, and they were screened by a committee, which I provided each of you a copy of the committee, the review sheets, and these are the recommendations. The selections for the home developers, there's only 2. I actually attached that to your application, to your resolution as well. HUD did send us an email about a week ago increasing the CDBG amount. So the CDBG amount went about $38,000 more. We took the difference and put it in homeowner rehab program.
Okay. Council President?
Councilwoman Davila.
So just quickly, just if I may, I know when we had our committee through the chair, I know that we had a discussion, and one of the things that you indicated within the recommendation is that these must be shovel-ready.
Yes.
And only 6 months,
Only
correct?
6 months, and they should be shovel-ready.
All right.
So, who else asked for the floor?
Council President.
I just wanted,
Madam Chair.
You asked for the floor? Councilwoman Cotton.
thank you, because I had sent out an email, because Barbara sent out an email to, our director, starting for 2022, we will get another allocation.
Yes, we should be
of how
receiving
much
an
we-
award letter from HUD probably between, I want to say November, October, November. We'll start
Right.
the process in August, though.
you
Based on
start-
what,
right.
we'll start it early because
Right.
we're assuming we're going to get the same amount or about the same amount.
Right. So only thing that we need to do now is, in this right here, you still got an RFP for the homeless, no, rapid rehousing and, homelessness.
Prevention, yes.
Right. That we still don't have, names for those two, categories yet. But we have, I mean, everything else we have names for them, so, I just wanted to make sure that this is from July
First
to
through
December.
December, yes. I have
For-
all but one agency is here with me. So if you had any questions regarding the actual projects, they're here to discuss it if you have a question.
Yeah,
So-
I think, no, it's a men's shelter.
Yes,
He's sitting behind O'Sheen.
he actually left.
Council
Isn't he
President.
sitting right there?
No, he
Oh,
left.
he left?
He had to leave
Oh, okay, yeah, he was from St. Peter's Shelter.
in
Right,
Clifton, yes.
yeah, he was from there. So, I'm fine, with this.
Council President.
So, hold on, council members, hold on a minute. There's 9 of us, some of us might have some questions. So I see a list of allocations here.
Yes.
When you initiate the whole process and you go out to RFP, who provides the direction of how the funding is gonna be used?
I don't quite understand
So
your
for example,
question.
you have here park, number 5, Park Recreational Facility, Improvement Project, DPW, Riverside Oval, River Street, New Field Replacement, Artificial Turf, 1,127,197. Does that come from the administration, or that's the question I'm trying
That
to
came
ask?
from DPW.
DPW.
Excuse me?
DPW. That came from DPW.
That's what I'm saying, the administration. Okay. What committee was this discussed on before we got to this stage that we're on right now? The reason I'm asking this, Barbara, is there was one time that I was upset because we grabbed all this money and we just decided to use it for certain projects without exploring the best use for the funding. That's what I mean. I'm not suggesting that this is illegal by any means, but we got to find the best use. That's where I'm getting at. When we decided what committee does this go on before
Community development.
it went through community development,
Yes, it did.
before we
And Council
decided to do the
President,
RFP?
Council President, just to that effect.
We did talk about
We, specifically what you just said, we had a very extensive conversation, and the director did say, along with her monitors, that the city are the ones that need to put forth the application.
Yes.
So in terms, the chair did question, why did, the administration only ask for 70,000? So the answer was, the DPW director submitted that amount. So Councilwoman, the chair, Councilwoman Mims and I, we were specific and said, we want to see more of this.
Councilman Malik as well.
To what you just said is a conversation we had in our committee 2 weeks ago. So we did have an extensive conversation, and we hope that the administration
And I
looks at
tell
the
you-
monies.
And then I'll tell you why the reason for my question. There was one time, Barbara, in the past, that we were presented with a plan, right? And we were told that it was too late, that it was already submitted to HUD. And I want to make sure that's not the case, that,
No.
that
This
things
is
are
not the
discussed at least in committee.
No, this
No,
is
no,
not
it
the
was
case.
discussed.
Okay, just want to make sure that we're not repeating the same failures from the
And
past.
Councilman
President.
Malik was there as well.
Okay. Councilman Jackson.
Thank you, Council President. So, I mean, I'm just trying to figure out a few things, and I know the director of DPW is here. How is it that maybe I'm missing something. How are we allocating $1.1 million for Riverside Oval Park when Commons Field, where thousands of young girls play every single year, and we've been waiting on that park to be redone. And we're consistently doing parks that's not impacting the youth of our community. And I don't understand how this selection process is being made. I wasn't part of it, so I'm just asking the question. Another question, item number 4, $104,000 clearance and demolition annual lease payments for construction. I know this may not be the time during CD, but I think it is. How many projects has that equipment been utilized on? I don't know if the chief of fire wants to answer that question.
He raised
but-
his hand. I think he wants to address it.
As I
And-
stated, they're all here.
I'm sorry?
As I stated previously, they're all here to answer your
So
questions.
he raised his hand. He wants to address the council.
Okay, very good. I
So
have,
the
I have,
sole
I have
chief-
more, but, I mean, if he wants to answer that question now,
Okay. Billy? So as we recall, in 2017, this council approved a list of parks that were eligible to receive CDBG funds. We gave you the list of all the parks in the city of Paterson that were owned by us, not private parks. We selected 18 of them. Billy is the director. Billy is the one who puts the application in for park improvements. We do talk, the administration, the mayor, myself, and Billy, we talk, we decide which parks are going to be done, but it's ultimately up to Billy Director Rodriguez to make that decision and submit the application. He does confer with the administration, but they've selected these 2 parks, and we have the funds, and they're ready to go. So, Billy, if you don't mind?
Commons is not eligible for CDBG money. That's why.
well, it's not city-owned?
It's not that it's not city-owned, it's not in a low-light area for us. We did a census tract, and we gave you the list of all.
Can you go to the mic, please?
I'm so sorry. We already have a resolution that has all the parks that qualify for CDBG funds, and that park is not included.
Why?
The calculations based on the census tract.
Census tract of what data? What are we looking at?
Well, the data of the park had to be in 2017, so it had to be 2010 data. We don't have 20 yet.
I'm asking, Bob, Director, what data are you utilizing, the metric to measure?
There's a metric system in the IDIS system that we plug in each address and then each park, each actual census tract. And if it doesn't add up to 51%, then we can't use the funds for that.
51% of what? I'm sorry, can you just
Low
explain
mod,
it to me?
I'm sorry. HUD has a calculation. Every area or every block has a census tract. We have to plug in each census tract, and the computer computes how much that totals to. So if there is 10 census tract lots, and it does not exceed 51.5% or 51%, then we can't provide any funding for that.
But, and this data is coming from a
2010 census,
from a state site,
the federal census.
federal census tract. So, and we are expected to believe that the census tract data from North 8th and 9th Street is significantly different from River Street? Like, that just doesn't make any sense.
Does it have
to
a
me.
lot of industrial areas in River Street or in North 8th Street? I'm not
There's
sure.
an industrial building right
I'm not
across the
saying
street
that
from the
there's not
park.
industrial building, I'm saying in the area, the census tract.
So-
If it's more industrial, because I think we did this with
So-
the park over here by Hazel Street.
So, council members, I understand the discussion, but the awarding agency is going by numbers that they have. We can't change that.
I can't, it's a
We
census
can't.
data.
I understand we don't agree with it, but we can't change it.
We
Yeah,
can
Council
question
President.
it
We could
because
question it,
it's
but-
our constituencies
But we can't
that's
change it.
being, disenfranchised, when we all know, I mean, if you
Council
measure the data, I mean, I want to know how this data is being captured, and I want to do it in a fashion in which the public can hear as well, because it's the public that's actually asking the question of why this park. I understood that particular park, which for me, everything is geared around youth. I enjoy playing sports, I participate in sports, but if we're not going to do something for our youth, we're not looking to curb some of the gun violence and some of the violent crimes that's going on in our communities. And we have to be willing to put forward some pushback, or at the very least, figure out how this data is being, captured.
Council
But
President.
listen, I mean, that's a fight for another time. I guess, it's a consistency of how our children, and personally, I think it's by design. is by design. As long as we negate and neglect, we have a young lady who had a scholarship to play at UCLA who broke her leg on home plate or third base. Correct me if I'm wrong, Director. Home plate, broke her, snapped her fibula in half. And we're not fighting on behalf of these children. That this young lady had a scholarship to go to UCLA, broke her leg on a field that has not been repaired in decades. And we're sitting here spending money on all these other places. We spent $1.4 million on a raggedy behind trailer park, and our children are left to play in subpar conditions. It's not acceptable. It's not acceptable. But anyway,
would
this
you
is
like,
this is an argument for another time,
Chief to
Director.
answer
And
your question?
you as the director and everyone collectively should be fighting and pushing back and understanding exactly where this data got, how did this data get captured? I was never subjected to any surveys. I don't know how.
There
how
is
this
no
data
survey, sir. There is no surveys.
Based on the
It is a census.
Council President.
Councilman
No,
Velez.
I was not.
Thank you, Council President.
I'm sorry. Do you want
No,
Chief
let
to answer?
Yes, please.
Actually, I apologize, yes.
Yeah, oh,
Chief?
Yeah, go ahead.
As far as the demolitions, we did the one on Butler Street after the fire. During COVID, all of the training from the operating engineers local that we were going to get was all shut down. So we haven't been able to train more people. Aside from that, all the fire buildings that we were able to work with the building owners to get their insurance to take it down when it was needed to. And as far as planned demolition, we're just waiting. Romy DePasquale left. We're waiting for the attorney for the abandoned properties so that we can start working. I know Mike Powell has a list of buildings for us to work on. We just have to get the legal, through the legal ease, and then we're ready to go. So I do have trained staff. We're just waiting on that. The fires that have occurred, we want the dime to be put on the insurance company and not on the city's backs. And we've been very fortunate to have been able to do that in the last year and a half, except for Butler Street. All the other ones torn down were done by the insurance companies. So the planned demo is coming. We just got to wait once we get the attorney and
So the equipment was
Corp
used on how
Counsel.
many sites?
Butler Street.
One site.
Yep.
How much did we spend on this equipment once again?
It was
As a
like
reminder?
maybe 700,000, something like that. 731.
Right here.
Thank you.
Council President.
Councilman Velez?
Yes, Director, and Director Billy Rodriguez is still there. Since 2016, I took office, I've been always asking Roberto Clemente Park. And the answer, and Roberto Clemente Park is in the resolution.
Yes.
Correct. And it's in the resolution. And last conversation I had, and I don't want to mention who, some improvement that they was going to do in the fence and this and that. Second floor told me and called me that they was going to assign CDG money for Roberto Clemente Park. Now, we're getting $70,000 from open space for a playground. At least that's a start for seeing a new playground there. That Roberto Clemente Park deserves better for the residents. And if we go with the census data that you have from federal, that probably hits 100% of need to satisfy the residential area, 10-minute walk to a park and all that beautiful plan that they talk about. Now, and I get a little bit personal when they call me when they needed something. Oh, I got this for you for the park. Now I see the application or where the funds are going, and I don't see the park again. Roberto Clemente Park is one of the most beautiful parks also in the city of Paterson. It's in the heart of Paterson. So, listen, it's a shame that I have to go through there every day and I see the brick wall that an employee with a truck of DPW knock it down and still is not repaired. The gazebo was set on fire, and I had to call DPW to go and pick up the remaining of whatever is there because it looks awful. So, well, Councilman, I'm sorry, but I'm lobbying for my ward and my park, and it's your park, it's everybody's park, it's Roberto Clemente Park, and everybody enjoy it. And that park is being visited more and this time, because it has a sprinkler system, it has other, you could do barbecues and all that stuff there. It's being used more. But I need to see something happen there.
Okay, are
Because
you asking
at the
me?
end, and the director's back there, I know he's listening. At the end, when, and President, Council President, you're aware of this, when something is not getting done in the city, the first thing the constituents of the community is gonna say, what the council is doing? What we elect you for? And when, day by day, every week, we start asking the administration, do this, do this, do this, do this, but they don't know the difference between the legislative body and the administration. We are the voice of the people, and we want to put the concern of the people in this chambers to be able to deliver it down the end. So I just, I see the project that they have here, they need it. I'm supportive of all of them, but also please, if the responsibility falls on the director, if the responsibility falls on you, to put in application as I heard here before, I don't know, we could have a picnic and sit there.
Talking to me or are you talking to?
No, both of you guys.
Councilman,
Thank you, Council Brother.
thank you. Point well taken. Councilman Councilman Mims.
So, I just want to put on the record, it really doesn't relate to this fully, but I want to put it back on the record. I've been asking for, I don't even know how long it's been at this point, to the administration. I see things that are added. In Cobb's Park, there was a car accident, and the gate was damaged. There are spikes sticking up in the park. And I've been asking so long, and I hate to see a child or an adult get hurt by these spikes. I've been asking, it's almost been a year. The gate is still not repaired. Tyrone Collins Park, the entire gate. I know we've done some mending to the side where there was a total open gap there, but we've been asking for that gate. It's supposed to be a new gate, still waiting on an update. So I'm putting it on the record again. Definitely both of them. But Cobb's Park, we should have someone out there tomorrow. There are spikes, I will send the pictures again, of spikes that are sticking up in the park, like out of the grass. That is so dangerous, and if one of our children stumble over or get hurt on it, it will not be because it was not stated at this place. So I just want to put it on the record once again. I've been asking, I've been emailing, I've sent pictures, I went down there, I don't know how many times, and I see, and I'm not against any of these items that are on here, but when I don't see those items added, it concerns me, and I've been talking about this for over a year. So if we can get some immediate action on Cobb's Park, as well as Tyrone Collins Park, some immediate action before someone gets hurt. I just want to put that on the record. Thank you.
Thank you.
So the last thing I'm going to say, and I have a tendency, I like to touch other subjects, but the only question I had was regarding this was on the process, right? And the process was followed.
Yes.
So I could appreciate that. That's all I'm looking for right now. That fairness was, taken into account when we're doing this. It was a fair process. But I looked at all of the entities that were awarded here. Next week, and this doesn't have to do with you, Barbara, most likely. I want to hear this from the administration. Next week, I noticed here we have one of the projects that actually, most of us, approve of the project. But I'm questioning the process now. Next week, we're going to be discussing an allocation of funding for one of these entities here. We had RCA funding, $900-something thousand, and we're going to discuss it next week. I want to know what process was used to allocate that funding for an entity, because from what I hear, this administration decided to include in their capital stack. You notice I haven't mentioned the name because the name is irrelevant right now. I'm looking at process. I've always been fair, I always look at process. The administration from economic development decided to include in that entity's capital stack, this is what I hear, and I think there was an article written months ago on this, or maybe a year, 900,000, we had 900,000 RCA money. We might have a resolution coming up that the council needs to approve, but once again, you cannot come here after the fact. you might put some projects in jeopardy because you're making that decision on your own without taking the council into account. So, Barbara, I think we're done with you. I want to ask the administration, just briefly, what process was used to basically authorize an allocation for using RCA money that we have in a trust account, I believe, to give to an entity? What process was used to basically award those funds to that entity?
Well, Council President, I don't have an answer to that question. I would have to get that information from the director.
So, and listen, this is the first time I do this. I usually tell you, okay, give me an answer later on. But you're the BA, there's an item that we're going to discuss next week, right? The CFO is here also. Either one of you have to have an idea what process was used to allocate that funding. No, the money's not gone because we haven't approved it yet. The council haven't approved it yet. So that money have to be in our account. So what process was used? None of you know what process was used to allocate that funding?
No, like I said, it hasn't been brought to my attention yet, and I can get the
So,
director to.
so
I
next
know
week,
he has-
I don't want to hear members of the public, they're going to come up, they could say whatever they, they're going to say what they're going to say. But me as a council person, just because I sympathize for a project, I still have to question the process. I cannot be biased. That's not me. I cannot say, oh, I'm going to question for this one, but not for this one. Here, clearly, the director from Barbara McGlennon, usually people are always taking jabs, not jabs, but passing comments on the work she's doing, but she's following HUD guidelines. She's following the process that she's supposed to follow under the law. Now, for next week, I'm going to leave it at that, but next week, I just want to know what process was followed to basically instruct that entity or to submit an application on their behalf, whoever submitted the application, including that RCA money as part of the capital stack for a project of the city. It's not part of this agenda,
Yep.
so this is for next week.
Yep, the director will be able to answer that.
Yes. So number 24 is going to go on regular.
Council President,
Consent.
Yeah, 22
sorry.
and 23 could go on consent.
Council President, number 20 and 21 needs to be additions. Number 20, it should be Councilman Jackson as a co-sponsor for Holy Tabernacle Church in the First Ward.
So you-
For number 20, and then 21, it should have myself, Councilwoman Davila, and Councilwoman Cotton. All three of us should be on that one.
So do you get that, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir.
Corporation Council.
Council President, I know we want to move right along, but I just want to put it on
And
record.
One second, Councilman Jackson. 21, can we do consent, and 20, can it be regular?
So 20 on regular.
19 is regular as well, right?
Yeah, 19 and 20 put on regular.
21 consent,
Put 21 on consent,
22 consent, 23 consent, 24
22
regular,
and 23 on consent.
24 regular.
24 goes on regular, Madam Clerk.
Yes, sir, I have.
So let's go back to 17 and 18, Madam Clerk.
Yes, sir. Oh, that's a raffle for this clerk. That could be consent.
Consent 17?
17.
Consent 17.
17
Council
consent, 18 regular.
Regular.
18 regular. All
Council
right.
President.
We did 19 through
25
24.
through, we
Consent.
didn't do 16 yet?
26, consent.
So number 16.
16 was regular. Regular, we said.
I think we did
It
16.
was
No, we did
regular,
that one already.
Yeah, we did
Regular.
16.
Yeah, we did that one already.
Yeah, 14 through 16, we already did those. They're all
Yes,
regular.
yes.
Council President, 25
So
to 29.
25 through
29, consent.
Consent.
to 29 consent, put 30 and 31 on regular.
Thirty and 31 regular.
Yes.
And yes.
32 to 35, consent.
So 32 through 35, I'm gonna put those on consent.
36, regular.
Consent.
32 to 35 consent. 36 on regular,
Yes.
37 on regular, 38 on regular,
39 consent, that's a renewal.
Oh, this is.
Council President,
hold on a minute.
Hardware.
Let's put 38 to 41
I was gonna say consent. It went
on
to
consent.
committee.
No. Item number 38.
Leave it on regular?
Yeah, I mean, why are we purchasing something under Morris County Corporate?
Director.
Hurry's here.
He's here, we're gonna ask him directly.
Continental Hardware?
Yes.
It's
It's through a co-op
through a co-op. Where are they
Yes.
located?
in Newark, I believe.
Newark?
Yeah.
We have, there's at least a dozen or more lumber companies here, hardware stores here that provide employment opportunities for city residents. Right over on Grand Street, there's Kukin Lumber, it's Feldman Lumber. Even the Home Depot. Home Depot has at least 56, maybe 100 Paterson employees. I'm just kind of curious, is it being openly?
Yes.
And-
And
and-
Harry to speak to it, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it was bid in
38.
yeah, the bid, the first time we went out, nobody responded to the bid, so that's why we went with the co-op. We used this company in the past, in 2000, I believe 14 it was.
There's no companies that local that's part of the co-op?
Could we hear from the, I'm sorry, Billy. I want to hear from the purchasing agent, because that's normal practice in municipalities to use co-ops. It's like using state contracts.
Yeah.
Harry, you want to,
Yes, in this particular, Council President, council members, in this particular case, we did go out to bid for lumber supplies. And then the prices came over the budget amount. So knowing that if I do it again, I will be in the same situation, I did a research like I usually do, and we belong to that co-op, the Morris County Co-op. What I decided to do, after conversing with the director, find out which vendors were there, and happened to be that the same vendor who participated in the bid is part of that. And then and the prices were very low compared, because you see, when they belong to a co-op, they're buying in bulk, so the prices really go down. To answer the Councilman Jackson question, yes, we do send out, number one, we put under the law, we put on the newspaper, we put here on cable. We put enough time to have anybody who is interested to respond to be able to do so. And that's the case for Grand Hardware. We had the extension of the contract, Circle Janitorial from Paterson, we got extension of the contract because they were participating before. But always an emphasis to make sure that the advertisement is there, and hopefully Patersonians, business from Paterson, be able to.
Very quickly.
Yes.
So there's no local agency that's part of a co-op that we could have participated in?
Is for certain items, but for example, I just did something for another co-op, and I saw Ricciardi brother from the painting that also, from the city, is part of that big co-op. So little by little, they get to know these things, and then they participate, they put the paperwork in there, so they be considered for next time. Okay. It's always an opportunity, and the only thing the vendor also had to do, had the desire to participate.
Very good.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Kalik?
Yeah, we're using Morris County Co-op just to do a bidding for us. So they have a broader base of companies that will bid for them. So I think it's better for us so more companies participate in their bidding. That's about it. Instead of, I believe Harry is putting up the bid,
Yeah.
the Morris County Co-op doing the bidding for us. So I think it's beneficial for the city because they have broader base of companies who bid in their co-ops.
Yes.
Correct?
That's the reason,
Harry?
yes, you're correct, Councilman.
So,
Thank you.
could we do 37 through 41? Put them on regular, Madam Clerk. Yes, they're contracts, so if any one of us feel by voting no on a contract, we'll vote no. So they go on regular. 37 through 41.
Thank you,
Okay.
Council. Good night.
I have them.
Thank you.
Mr. President, the one is, 37 is a grant application.
Yes, the council, not every grant is beneficial to the city. We have to analyze. If we don't want to vote on a grant, we don't vote.
Or regular.
It's on regular.
All right.
All right, so we have
42,
42, 43 on regular.
regular. But for 43, Council President, to Corporation Council, I would like to add an addendum after her 74th birthday. This is for Councilwoman Vera Ames. So can we just add that here and on the resolution, that it's her 74th birthday? You want to be added? And can we add
And me.
on co-sponsor, Councilwoman Davila and Councilman Velez?
All right. So
As co-
42,
as-
43,
as
and
co-
44 on regular.
I'm sorry, as
Co-sponsor,
co-sponsor?
Councilwoman Davila and Councilman Velez.
Councilman Velez. Okay, got it.
Council President, did you put 19 on regular?
And 44 regular as well, Council President.
44?
Yes, for,
Yes,
Mr.
40,
Mark
42 through
Damon
44
Smith.
on regular.
Okay.
Council President, you put 19 on regular?
Yes, 19 is on, 19 is regular also.
Thank you. Move to close? Move to close?
Move to close by councilman, actually,
Second.
council members, before I acknowledge. We have a payment of bills that we didn't pass. And I would like to reconsider my vote, or reconsider that motion. Do we have a second for the payment of bills?
Second.
Second. No, only, we can only
Reconsider, not my vote,
whoever
reconsider
said no.
the resolution
I wasn't here.
for
that's
payment
why I
of
said-
bills.
Yeah.
So, Council President, if you're moving it, I will second it.
Okay, so moved
On
by
the-
myself and second by Councilwoman Davila to reconsider
On the reconsideration?
on the reconsideration, correct?
So Council President and Councilwoman
Payment of bills.
Davila to reconsider. Roll call to reconsider the payment of bills for $5,843,292.54. Councilwoman Davila? It's on the reconsideration.
Yes.
Councilman Jackson?
No.
Councilman Kalik?
Yes.
Councilman Mendez is gone. Councilman Mims?
So I want to put it back on record again. The payment of bills is $5,843,292.54. Out of this payment of bills, it is the payroll for our employees and other entities of $4,539,671.10. I voted yes before, and I will definitely vote again to make sure our employees get paid. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Velez?
Well, I wasn't here, but I vote yes.
To reconsider.
Yes.
It's under reconsideration. Mr. President?
Yes, to reconsider.
So the vote is 5 in favor, 1 against, 3 absent. Reconsideration on the payment of bills is hereby adopted. So now I need a motion and a second to
Move.
Second.
adopt as reconsidered.
Move by Councilman Velez, second by Councilwoman Mims.
Roll call
on
on the
the payment of bills.
reconsideration to approve this payment of bills in the amount of $5,843,292.54. Councilwoman Khan?
Yes.
Councilwoman Davila?
Yes.
Councilman Jackson?
I'm sorry, I need a moment, Madam Clerk.
Sure. You do want to pass and then go on?
Yes, please.
Yes, you passed.
Councilman Kalik?
Yes, Madam Clerk.
And Councilman Mims?
To pay our employees who work really hard and are underpaid, my vote is absolutely yes.
And then Councilman Velez.
I notice there's a lot of payment for repair vehicles that city needs. My vote is yes.
The vote is yes. Councilman Velez?
Oh, yes, then let me say yes, please.
Oh, thank you so very much. Councilman Jackson.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. As I'm looking through these items, I'm seeing here refuge, garbage collection. What do you mean? No? I'm looking at it right here. Refuge, garbage collection voucher. Coastal distribution, $60,000 to $70,000. Sorry. So once again, you know, I asked that certain items, Council President, I made a request through the chair last time that we remove and create a separate bills list for items such as employee payroll expenditures, so that we can isolate these things and we don't have to be forced to bundle payments for all these other items that really should not be getting paid. You know, we're getting bullied by the threat of employees not getting paid, and these vendors are continuously being paid while they're rendering horrible services. I'm going to be consistent, Madam Clerk. My vote is no.
Thank you. Mr. President?
As I stated previously, I'm part of the Personnel Committee. We often talk about overtime. We've been talking about overtime now for 2 years, and the overtime practice. Not all overtime is bad. Sometimes it's needed to make sure that the services are provided. But we have a lot of questionable overtime in the city, and I'm going to continue to vote no until we have a sit-down with the administration, and they basically tell me what they have put in place to improve this situation. My vote is no, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. President. The vote is 5 in favor, 2 against, 2 absent. Payment of bills under reconsideration is hereby adopted in the amount of $5,843,292.54. Thank you.
Do we have a motion to close the public meeting, the workshop agenda?
Move.
Moved by Councilman Davila, second by
Me.
Councilman Velez. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Yes, Mr. President. Roll call to close the workshop session of June 1st, 2021. Councilwoman Cotton?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. I just want to remind everyone that I'm having like a little nonprofit at my house. If you had not seen it, if it's going to rain, you have to look on Facebook to see where I may change it to. Also, Councilwoman Mims, and it was another young lady. It was a very bad fire with one of the abandoned houses on 12th Avenue. The name of the church was Exodus Church, and there was like 4 or 5 families, 4 or 5 buildings that caught on fire. We have to take a closer, we have to look at it closely when people are reporting abandoned houses that needs to be boarded up. I'm not quite sure what's happening, but then also we have to take really a good look at it. I want to say let's keep those families in prayer, and also for some of the violence that have been going on in the community. Let's just keep let's keep those families in prayer, because I know that there's so many things, but there was 2 people that helped some of those people to get out on 12th Avenue, and one of them was Councilwoman Vera Ames' goddaughter that helped one of the elderly women to get out. So they call her Nene or Lele. So I just want to say I thank you all, and Councilwoman Mims' nephew, who happened to be walking down the street, who helped them to be able to get out. So I just want to say thank you to them for doing that. With that being said, don't forget about the healing weekend on June 5th, Saturday, 100 Hamilton Plaza. If you want to join me on Saturday from 4 to 8, I'm going to be on Carroll Street and Godwin Avenue for the healing process that the Healing Collective have put together. So with that being said, Madam Clerk, I want to wish you all out there good night. God bless you all. Stay safe. Madam Clerk, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilwoman Davila?
Thank you very much, Madam Clerk,
You're welcome.
and to the entire staff. My vote is yes.
Thank you. Councilman Jackson?
Yes.
Councilman Kalik?
Good night, everyone. My vote is yes.
Councilwoman Mims?
And so there's a T-ball tournament. It was supposed to be last Saturday, but it's rescheduled to this Saturday at the field on Chamberlain Ave. So Lady Royals and all the other teams that are going to play, you have a chance to win. I think it's a 50-inch television. Please come out and enjoy the fun and festivities. Even if you can't play kickball, come out and watch. There's so many events that Councilwoman Cotton has already mentioned, but I also want to reiterate, we've been having a lot of fires in the city, but I do want to celebrate, and I think we should honor these two individuals that were on 12th Ave, Ms. Lena Bean, who helped one of our senior citizens, seasoned senior citizens, to come out of one of the homes, and my nephew who was riding through that area and knocked on all of the doors in that community. And so looking forward to honor these two individuals. They are heroes in our city. It could have been a lot worse because the fire was very devastating. So to Lena Bean and to one of our own city employees, Jaami Mims, thank you so much for saving their lives. We really appreciate it. To the community at large with all of the issues and concerns that are going on, praying for you. Those that are still sick, people are still sick with COVID, other things going through in their body, we're praying for you. Lizzie, who is our poet laureate, we are praying for you as you go forward to have another procedure done. We stand in prayer with you and so many other families that we know to call and don't know to call. Our prayers, our hearts, and our love is with you. God bless this great city. Good night.
Your vote, Councilwoman?
I get so excited about the city, I forget to vote. My vote is yes, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Councilman Velez?
Yeah, Madam Clerk, I just want to remind the residents of Paterson that unfortunately they kick us out from the International High School. Now the vaccination center is at the Department of Health site. Please make sure if you are going to get vaccinated or have any kind of appointment for the second shot, you attend the Paterson Health facility on Broadway. They thank you to the fire department to responding right away to put a tent and making sure that the process vaccination don't get delayed. To the residents of the Fifth Ward, I'm going to be announcing soon now that all these restrictions have been moved and the capacity in indoors are granted to do more activities. I will be announcing soon a Fifth Ward Community Public Safety meeting to discuss some issues that regarding in the Fifth Ward, making sure we go back to the connection between the community and myself, knowing that the COVID-19 delay us to do a lot of those meetings. You know, the sprinkle system in the Roberto Clemente Park, somehow, some fashion, some people, somebody have a key they've been opening without no permission from DPW, but if you are going to enjoy those sprinkle system, make sure you use the precaution and making sure that you use distancing and you wear your mask if you don't feel safe and had any doubts. So saying that, Madam BA, I will request if you could send a message to the public safety director and the police to keep our eye open during the night. There are U-Haul trucks dumping in our city. Okay, this constitution took the opportunity to send me a video fresh from while we was here in the meeting, got a license plate and everything. I hope she's still not waiting to cop at this time. They already dispatched him. But if any patrolman see any U-Haul trucks around the city, they are dumping. Okay, so I have a plate number, and tomorrow probably I'm going to visit that U-Haul. It happened under the bridge on 20th Avenue and also the 17th Avenue and 18th Avenue and between 17th Avenue, et cetera, area. So just keep an eye open. Okay, so saying that, buenas noches, my vote is yes.
Thank you. Mr. President?
To the residents and my colleagues, hopefully what took place tonight will change the way, the direction of, how the city's operating. Hopefully, that sends a message, and my vote is yes.
Thank you. The vote is 7 in favor, 2 absent. Workshop session of June 1st, 2021 is hereby adjourned. Good night, everyone. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.